I was at the Dead and Company show in Boulder, and the mushrooms had just started to hit. Okay, I'm trying something new here. I wanted to record that right there as if I had like a clipped up intro, but I don't have a clipped up intro. I'm just hitting this as record and talk. So that was my experimentation on can I drop in a hot one liner and kick this thing off? Maybe it hits, maybe it doesn't. Either way, we got a new alternate logo in tribal training, and I'm recording a podcast here. I want to talk to you about the expansion of the legend of tribal, building out the brand, and where the ideas for this came from. So the truth is, I was at the Dead and Company show in Boulder in the summer of 2023. I think it was July 2023. And right now it is October 2024. And so I got to tell you what I saw at this concert, because this concert was a huge inspiration for me. It was my first time seeing Dead and Company. I'm a huge John Mayer fan. I really fell in love with John Mayer when I was living in Nashville in like 2017, 2018. I've seen John Mayer a few times, and I really wanted to see Dead and Company because I wanted to see John Mayer, and I wanted to see what a Dead and Company show was like. I didn't really understand Grateful Dead music just listening to it on Spotify. And I had this moment at the concert where I am standing on the east side of the stadium. It's at Folsom Field, which is University of Colorado's football stadium. I'm standing on the east side, and I'm looking out over the rest of the stadium. And I've got this expansive view of the mountains behind the stadium. The sun is just starting to set behind the mountains. And I just take in this scene where I'm just like, damn, man, this whole place has this rhythm to it, has this energy to it. And people are just being themselves and moving to the music. And nobody here is trying to be anything other than exactly what they are. And I had this thought burst into my mind. It was like a fucking comet came in from outer space. And it was like, boom, dude. It was like, holy shit, man. If Jerry Garcia, the dude who started the Grateful Dead, if Jerry Garcia was into endurance, he would be building what tribal is. That was the thought that I had. I was like, holy shit. We have this collection of people who are drawn into this thing that's calling them. It's calling them to act out in a different way than maybe the rest of society's expecting. And they love it. They love it. They want more of it. That was the initial idea. And then I was like, holy shit, man. I love the whole vibe around the Grateful Dead. I love the tie-dye t-shirts. They're loud. They're bold. They're original. I love how they've got these different mascots. They've got the dancing bears. They've got the skeleton man. They've got a skull with a lightning bolt through it. I'm looking at my side here. My dad got me this awesome. I got to hold this. I'm doing this on YouTube. I got to get this real quick. Look at, if you're on Spotify, you got to get the video of this too. Check out this absolutely badass Dead and Company painting that my dad had handmade for me. So we got, right, dancing bears, we got Mayer, we got Weir, we got this lightning bolt skull thing, right? And so when I went to this show and I had this moment, I was like, damn, man, I really want to create a collection of characters for tribal the way that the Grateful Dead has the dancing bears, the other mascots. And my initial idea was like, oh, I'm going to create like a chief. Then I'm going to create like a medicine woman of some sort, like an elderly Native American woman that's like kind of the mother of the tribe. I was like, ooh, then I could do like a wolf and an eagle, and I could have them kind of in a row the way that the dancing bears are on t-shirts. And that was the initial idea. And what ended up coming of that initially was the creation of the mascot logo. I'm wearing the t-shirt right here. This is the Adapt and Overcome logo. You got to be on YouTube or at least Spotify video for this to check out what we got live. mascot logo, that totally came to life from that Grateful Dead and Company concert Vision. But I didn't make a move on the rest of the stuff, which I'm super stoked about because I got to tell you how this has evolved in real time. Other connection of Tribal's inspiration from the Grateful Dead. So after I went to this concert, I was like, holy shit, I got to learn more about the Grateful Dead. So there is a documentary series. I believe it's called Long Strange Trip. It might be Strange Long Trip, one of the two. And I think it's like 4 or 5 or 6 parts on the Grateful Dead. And there's this part somewhere in it where Jerry Garcia is talking about what the Grateful Dead represents. And I paused it, rewinded it, paused it, rewinded it like 4 times so I could write this out word for word at the time of watching this, which was like over a year ago now. And so I'm going to read this to you right here. So Jerry Garcia, he goes, the Grateful Dead represent something like hopping railroads, something like that. But you can't do those types of things anymore. But you can be a deadhead. You can get in your van and go with the other deadheads across the United States. Now that looks like fun. You have your war stories, you know? Stories about the times you were driving through the plains in the middle of the night, got 4 flat tires, and some farmer helped you out, put you up. I think that's what motivates the audience now. The spirit of being able to go out and have an adventure in America at large. The whole thing is the deadheads have a certain sense of adventure, and it's tough to come by adventure in this new lame America. Is that not tribal? That's tribal, dog. War stories. We have war stories from every single team event that we do. Even just people individually racing on their own come back with these war stories of being in endurance. But I'm thinking about like Chattanooga, Ironman Chattanooga. We were just there. It's like the war stories of the swim getting canceled. What the hell are we going to do? The rain on race day. We're out there biking in the rain, running in torrential downpour. I'm thinking about Zion, us coming down the freaking Flying Monkey descent, 51.8 aid station. Like these are freaking adventures, man. And so to me, I'm like, damn, man, I'm so drawn to that. I'm so inspired by that. Like, I want to bring more of that into tribal. And so this elephant logo, I got to tell you, this is just the truth of the organic build of the brand. So I'm like, all right, I want to do a new logo. I want to bring something new to life. And the initial inspiration from this came from 2 different things. Number one is the fact that we are running Elephant Mountain 50 as a team ultra in February. And number 2 is the Enter Action with Boldness keynote that I gave at the Do Hard Things conference back in August. And to me, my initial idea of creating that entire cast of characters, while it may have been cool, there would not have been a lot of substance behind it. Like, we created a lot of meaning behind the mascot logo, naming him Chief Manitou, talking all about the great spirit, bringing in the adapt and overcome tagline into this tee that I'm wearing. And so to me, I'm like, ooh, how cool would it be if I can bring these characters to life as the team evolves and we have these real experiences that we're chasing and these real lessons that we are extracting from life. And I got to say, Enter Action with Boldness, that was like the theme of my keynote. But embedded within that are lower the bar and raise the execution. That is the number one theme that is stuck out on physical action and building back momentum this year. Guys really struggling to stay consistent. It's like, dude, stop trying to do an hour, man. Go do 30 minutes. Bang that out for 30 days in a row. Like, I've had so many guys freaking flip a switch in their mind on that protocol. And it's like, damn, man, now anytime somebody's coming to me struggling with consistency, I'm like, dog, you know the playbook. Let's go. Lower the bar and raise the execution. And to me, embedded in that is Enter Action with Boldness. It's like, okay, yeah, be bold on that 30 minutes. Like, being bold doesn't always mean running 100 miles, right? That's kind of the whole point of the Elephant Mountain 50 is like lower the bar, raise the execution. We can keep chasing 100 milers. We're going to be doing that kind of stuff forever. But like, let's go freaking take down a 50 with authority, right? So that's embedded in there. The other theme that's embedded into Interaction with Boldness is get it live and get it going. And this is coming from the fact that I am really starting to coach up a lot of guys who are launching or building side hustles. And in my own experience, this is so true. You've got an idea, you want to make progress on it, but you get wrapped up in what the idea is and what are the steps and where am I headed and what's the thing. And it's like, dude, get it live and get it going. And that was a huge lesson that I had learned from the first Endurance Accelerator. I spent probably 7 freaking months building out that course, hemming and hawing, trying to perfect it. And when I finally launched it, the guys who had signed up for that told me exactly what they needed, and it was completely different from what I had built. And so, hey, it worked out great, right? I was connected with the guys I was supposed to connect with, Logan, Aaron, other guys in the cohort. But there is a part of my operation where, hey, I could have gotten that live and just kicked off that thing way sooner, right? And made more progress. So bringing this logo to life. So I got to just tell you guys. So I got a designer. I got it up on the screen here. I got a designer that I work with. I got connected with him from Ryan Park. He is the guy that he does Tripper Clothing. They're like a t-shirt design company, and he goes to music festivals and stuff like that. And so he got me connected with this guy, and this is the guy who built the original Adapt and Overcome logo. And so I went online and I was like just going on Pinterest and looking for dope pictures of elephants fucking charging with people like riding them. I was like thinking like Lord of the Rings style almost. And I found this really cool photo, sent it to him, sent him, of course, this logo with the mascot. And I was just like, hey, dude, I want this dude riding an elephant. And I wanted to say Interaction with Boldness. And that's all my direction. That's another great lesson that I've learned is like when you're working with a designer, like give them some ideas and then just like don't be overbearing on all the critiques. Like there's time to make edits along the way, but like I have had most success with like, here's the initial inspiration. This is the idea. I also like to send similar photos of things that the person had made. So for this guy, I go on his Instagram and I'm like, hey, I really like the style of these other logos that you made. So this is kind of the way that I want it to look. These are my ideas for what I want it to be. You go do your thing. You're the designer. That was the same kind of process for me creating the tribal comic, which was a different person, a thing that I had found online. So I'm super stoked about launching this. We just launched 2 new pieces of merch around this as well. We got a long sleeve that has got just tribal training written in our block text on the front, in the center, and then on the back, very similar to how this Adapt and Overcome tee is set up. The Interaction with Boldness elephant logo is on the back. Then we got a crew neck sweatshirt that has this front and center on the chest that I'm super stoked about. One thing that I really like about the designer that I work with is that he gives me a bunch of different colors around this stuff. So I want to click through and just show you guys some of the really cool things that came to life. So this one here, this is pretty similar coloring to the shirt and the mascot logo that we made for the Adapt and Overcome logo. So we threw that one in there. I told him I needed a red one. I needed a red one. I, at the very least, knew that Phil was really going to like an elephant logo that had red and black because that's like Alabama. I was a little bit thinking, do I want to lean into this logo being red completely? Like, do I want this red image to be the stock image? But I decided that I want to stay on brand with the orange and black. So that was why I stuck with this one as really the primary. But we have a lot of other cool ones here. So check out this freaking one. This one is rad. We got this freaking elephant in blue. This is like a Halloween vibe. And when I first saw this, I was like, dude, this has to be the one. As I sat with it and thought with a little bit more, I didn't want something quite as exotic, maybe. This dude also included just like some of the initial sketching that he did. So this is pretty cool. Like, I don't know what the hell this dude does to bring this all to life, but these are some of the original things. One of the changes that I made was that I wanted our mascot's mouth to be open, like, rah! Like going in. That was really the only edit that I think I had made. Um, Chelsea really loves this. I did not tell him to include this at all. And these colors aren't really on brand for tribal, but to me, this is like a retro baseball logo. This is like really cool. So I think I'm going to get a couple of small things, maybe a surprise for Chelsea, made for this coloring. Um, this dude also does a really cool job of like sending t-shirt mock-ups. So it's not always exactly what I go with, but it at least gives me like kind of a frame on, how I want to do things. And that's what we got going on. I wanted to do a short, quick hitter. I don't really know that there's anything else I want to share. That's the logo. It's live. I really am grateful for the natural evolution of this coming to life in real time with what is relevant for the team, the races that we're doing, the idea of doing race logos. Like I had an idea of like, ooh, do I want to make like specific t-shirts for just Elephant Mountain 50? Like that was one of my first ideas. But I decided against that because I want everybody inside of Tribal to be able to utilize the logo or wear shirts on it that have it, stuff like that. So this was inspired by Elephant 50, but it's not for Elephant 50. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we get into in 2025 or sign up for in 2026. There's already talk of 2026 Team Ironman being Lake Placid. So who knows? Maybe we'll have a freaking alligator. I have no idea. But one thing I also really love is that I would have never thought of an elephant. I would have never thought of an elephant. I would have done, right? I've already mentioned wolf, eagle, stuff like that. And to me, I'm just like, that stuff is cool, but it's so much more meaningful that this is true to us. And that's the final lesson that I'll leave people with. I made this mistake early in brand building, is like really trying to clarify the mission statement and the values. And you do want to have ideas on that stuff. Like you do need to have an identity as a brand, but in my experience, allowing things to emerge organically, allowing people inside the organization to help support or feed into the ideas or contribute to the ideas. Like adapt and overcome was a lesson, but through Keith's story, that's how it came to life. And so that all of a sudden makes it a million times more meaningful. And so it's cool because Tribal overall is at a season where these like themes and these lessons, interaction with boldness, lower the bar, raise the execution, get it live and get it going, adapt and overcome, like these things are becoming rock solid foundations of this brand that is going to last decades, dog. So that's what I got for you. Thanks for listening. Adios.